Hey everyone, my name is Dewan with PictureThisBOOTHLA, and today we're going to talk about exactly how much you can make with a photo booth business. So we started PictureThisBOOTHLA back in 2018, so we've been in business a little over 4 years, and through the years we've learned a lot about running this type of business, and the potential earnings for this can be pretty exponential. So we started off with just one booth, and obviously this was a side hustle at the time, and me nor my wife were thinking about taking this on full time. We started off with one booth, and we primarily only worked on Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, the weekends only. Obviously with this as a side hustle, we both had our full-time jobs during a week. And we just had that one booth, which we bought used, by the way. So we wanted to make sure that we kept our overhead very low because we didn't want to dump a lot of money into a business that we had no intentions of going full time with. We wanted to make some extra cash and just make sure that we're generating that money and kind of reinvesting into the business and see how it goes. To start things off, there are a couple of items that goes into how much money you can make into the photo booth business. Price being one of them. With that one booth, with us starting out, we priced our booths fairly low. I think we're right around $75 an hour here in Los Angeles, California, which isn't great. We didn't have the best equipment, the best camera equipment, but we wanted to kind of just learn the business. And that's what we did. We ran about $75 an hour for that booth for probably about 6 months, making roughly around $300 every event. Which doesn't seem like a lot, but if you're doing 1 to 3 events a weekend, $600 a weekend, and we're making about $1,500 to $2,000 every month extra, just running at $75 an hour. Fast forward to today, we have around 6 booths, and we run about $125 to $150 an hour, which puts our earnings right around $10K a month. But that is to say that not everyone can start off that low. So the first thing we have to really look at when we're starting this business is pricing. Pricing is going to make a huge difference into how much money you can make with this business. Now, like I said, we start off at $75 an hour, which is in LA on the lower end for photo booths. But again, our equipment wasn't great. We didn't have very good props, very good camera equipment. The photo booth didn't look aesthetically appeasing like we have today. So we just wanted to make sure that we just learned how to do the business. So if you start to calculate your earnings, I feel like any beginning photo booth company will probably start off around $75 to $100 an hour. And with that, you're doing 3 to 4 hour events. So you're making right around $300 to $400 per event. Obviously, if you're just starting out, you're probably only going to have 1 event a weekend, maybe 2 events a weekend. So if you're looking at $400 every weekend in each month, you're still looking like around a $2,000 revenue stream every month. But then you have to look at what your overhead is. Beginning photo booths, especially if you're printing out photo booth strips, you have to pay for paper and ink. You have to pay for maintenance on your camera equipment. You have to pay for subscriptions to the photo booth service software. So there are things you have to take into consideration as far as your net profit would be. But you can roughly estimate that your net profit per event would probably be around $300 if you're charging $75 an hour for a 4-hour event. Next is your service level. So it wasn't until about 6 months into us making our company and doing events till we figured out that, hey, we can probably upcharge for certain services that we have to offer. So most photo booths come out with the 2x6 strips that you all know. I'll put a picture here for you to see. But then we decided, hey, maybe people will pay a premium if they got the full 4x6 photos. And so we started to upcharge people for having full 4x6 photos rather than the specific 2x6 strips. And that not only saves us money on paper, because a lot of times people don't want to pay the upcharge for the 4x6, but two, we can also have more revenue coming in per event by having that add-on. Other add-ons that you can upcharge for are all the different filters that come within Photobooth software. So that can be black and white photos, that can be like a beauty filter that's on the inside the software as well. Those things you can upcharge for, which don't necessarily have a cost associated with it to you, just a setup of your time. But you can start upcharging for those, and people are getting more of a premium service for you, and they're willing to pay more for that. So those upcharges can be anywhere from $25 to $50 per event, which is going to increase your margins per event, which making your profit more per month. Next, we got to talk about scaling and growing the number of booths that you have. So, like I said, we started off with one booth, which we ran primarily on the weekend. It is two of us, so adding a second booth was fairly easy for us because we can split up and do events on each day. So we can start not only doing different events at the same time, or even 4 different events per day, if we can time it right. So that was a huge advantage by adding a second booth to our inventory, and we can start doubling the amount of money that is coming in just by adding a second booth and having us split up. Again, if we're taking that same $75 an hour, $75 to $100 for a 4-hour event, making $400 in revenue, we double that and making $800 per day, and we can do 4 events per weekend. That's about $2,400 per weekend that we can actually come get in, and you multiply that by 4 weeks, we're bringing over $10K a month with just only 2 booths. However, by adding a 3rd and 4th booth, you have to start thinking about hiring photo booth attendants. So that's another cost that's going to be associated with it. Here in LA, minimum wage is starting to get very, very costly. So and if you're doing gig work, you have to start paying people by event. Not a lot of people want to get paid hourly for being a photo booth attendant. So it's a very high turnover job. So most people don't want to get paid, for a 4-hour event. They don't want to get paid $60, $80 just because we're paying them minimum wage. Or if you pay them $25 an hour, it's just not enough. So now when you're adding on more booths and you have to hire people, that's going to be eating into your margins. So it's always best to find people who are looking for extra side money, who's willing to work for maybe $100 per event, and you can start having your earnings grow from there. You have to play with it though, and really look at when you're hiring the margins that goes into it, because it can eat into your bottom line. Next is a type of events that you do. So when we first started off, we were doing just birthday parties. We were doing a couple of retirement parties, but with those type of events, what people want to pay has a cap on it. It wasn't until we started getting into corporate events and weddings where we start seeing our earning potentials grow. So by doing a specific type of events like wedding or getting into more corporate events, people are willing to pay a premium price for better quality products and better quality service. I would advise that anyone who is just starting out to get your feet wet at the birthday parties. The lower stress environments of those parties could definitely help. And then once you get comfortable really running your booth, then you can start going into the more high stress environments like weddings, bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, because those are definitely higher paying gigs, but you want to make sure that you're really comfortable with your equipment. If you like this type of material, please subscribe, like, and hit that notification button. We're really trying to grow this channel, and we're really trying to put more information out there of like everyday people like me and you who are starting their businesses and want to just look to grow and scale them. So follow us, subscribe, follow us on all social media networks at PictureThisBOOTHLA, like and comment, and then let's roll. Happy boothing.